climbing the broken ladder. Why Black women are building their own tables and winning good evening. I want to tell you about a conversation that changed everything for me. A conversation with Grace Williams, a visionary who is not just building businesses, but dismantling an entire mythology that has held Black women captive for generations. Grace Williams is rewriting the rules of economic power in this country. She is proving that the most educated demographic in the United States, Black women, do not need permission slips from boardrooms that were never designed to celebrate us. She is not asking for a seat at the table. She is building her own table, and she is inviting every Black woman who has ever been told to wait her turn, to work twice as hard, to prove herself one more time, to stop waiting and start building. Tonight, I want to share what Grace taught me about why entrepreneurship is not a backup plan. It is the main event, it is the revolution, and it is happening right now. Let me ask you something. When you think about success for Black women, what image comes to mind? Is it the corner office with the skyline view? The executive title on the business card? The steady paycheck with benefits and a retirement plan? For decades, we have been sold this story. Climb the ladder, work twice as hard as everyone else, prove yourself over and over and over again. And maybe, just maybe, if you are lucky and you do not make any mistakes and you smile at the right moments and you do not push back too hard, you will get a seat at the table. But here's what Grace Williams showed me. And here's what the data screams at us when we are finally brave enough to listen. That ladder, it is broken. It has always been broken. And the women who are winning right now, the ones building generational wealth and redefining what power looks like in this country, they stopped climbing that ladder years ago. They jumped off and they started building something entirely new. Black women own 39.2% of all businesses in the United States. Let that settle in for a moment. Nearly 4 out of every 10 businesses generating $3.3 trillion in revenue are owned by women who look like us. And those businesses are not just surviving, they are thriving. From 2019 to 2024, women owned firms grew their revenue by 56.8% and expanded their workforces by 19.5%, outpacing men owned businesses in both categories. Now, you might be thinking, well, that is great. But is that not just because women are getting laid off and starting businesses out of desperation? Is this not just a survival response to a failing economy? And that is exactly the assumption Grace Williams wants us to challenge. Because yes, Black women's unemployment hit 7.1% in November 2025. Yes, 35,000 women lost their jobs in late 2025. Yes, the economy is tough and getting tougher. But here is the twist that nobody is talking about. Entrepreneurship is not the consolation prize, it is the superior growth engine. Black owned employer businesses grew 56.9% from 2017 to 2022, faster than any other demographic group in America. These are not side hustles born from desperation. These are deliberate, strategic, powerful ventures built by women who decide that if the system will not make space for them, they will build their own system. They will create their own economy. They will define success on their own terms. Grace Williams told me something that I cannot stop thinking about. She said, "You Chud, get brutally honest about your why before you launch, not your polished LinkedIn ready why, not the elevator pitch you rehearsed in the mirror. Your raw 3 a.m. cannot sleep because this matters so much why. Because in an economy where Black women face 7.1% unemployment, where only 82 women of color get promoted for every 100 men, where return to office mandates disproportionately push out caregivers, 2/3 of whom are women, you need an anchor. You need a reason that is stronger than every single obstacle that will come your way. And trust me, the obstacles will come. Let me tell you about Rachel Blank. Rachel is a Black woman who founded and now leads Alara Health, a telemedicine platform focused on women's health. Rachel faced the same return to office mandates that are widening what researchers are now calling the ambition gap. That is the growing divide where talented, capable, brilliant women are opting out of corporate life not because they lack ambition, but because the structures punish them for having lives outside of work. Rachel also had to navigate the venture capital world where funding for women founded startups declined even as overall investing increased. The pattern matching in those VC rooms favors people who look like previous successes, and previous successes rarely looked like Rachel. But Rachel did not wait for permission. She did not wait for someone to see her value. She leveraged her expertise. She built a founder led model that addressed women's specific health needs. She proved rapid scalability, not by asking for approval, but by doing the work and showing the results. Today, Alara Health is a recognized leader in telemedicine, contributing directly to that 56.8% revenue growth among women owned businesses. Rachel learned something critical. Ambition does not die in corporate America, it just finds better soil elsewhere. It finds soil where it can actually grow. Then there is Logan Brown, founder of Soxton.ai, an AI powered legal platform. Logan entered one of the most competitive, male dominated spaces in technology at a time when Black women's unemployment was climbing and federal job cuts eliminated 168,000 positions. Logan faced the same VC pattern matching that Rachel did. The same declining deal counts for women founders. The same investors who could not see past their own biases. But Logan did something brilliant. She did not just pitch her product, she educated investors on the emerging pattern of women founders' success. She showed them that the old patterns were breaking. She showed them that betting on women was not charity, it was smart business, it was the future. Logan achieved product market fit in AI legal tech and positioned Soxton.ai as an innovator in a crowded field. Her story mirrors the broader trend. Black women are launching nearly half of all new businesses in this country, driven from corporate roles by promotion disparities and structural barriers that refuse to budge. And they are not just launching, they are scaling. Women owned firms grew their workforces by 19.5%, outpacing men owned businesses. These women are not just surviving, they are winning. And then there is Fei Fei Li, often called the godmother of AI. Fei Fei faced persistent VC gender bias, corporate ambition gaps, and economic policies that hit Black women the hardest. She came from academia into a world where only 14.58% of federal STEM roles are held by Black professionals. But Fei Fei founded AI ventures that leveraged her deep expertise and built investor confidence in diverse founders. She established AI leadership and demonstrated that women do not just survive in demanding fields, they shape them, they define them, they lead them. Her work contributes to that $3.3 trillion in revenue generated by women owned businesses. She is proof that when you stop waiting for the system to validate you, you can build something the system cannot ignore. Now, here's what Grace Williams wants you to understand: these women, Rachel, Logan, Fei Fei, they are not outliers. They are not exceptions to the rule. They are the vanguard. They represent a seismic shift happening right now, where the most educated demographic in America is saying, we are done waiting for you to see our value. We are done asking for permission. We are done proving ourselves to people who will never believe we are enough. We are building our own tables. We are creating our own opportunities. We are defining our own success. But Grace also gave me two other insights that are just as critical, and I need you to hear them. The second one is this: leverage your warm network and bootstrap creatively. Black women often underestimate the supporters who are already in their circles, your friends, your sorors, your group chats, the people who have been cheering for you all along, waiting for you to finally step into your power. Grace says soft launch to them first. Do not wait for the perfect website or the flawless pitch deck or the ideal moment. Tell the people who already love you what you are building and let them be your first customers, your first investors, your first word of mouth marketers. Let them carry you until you can run and diversify your funding beyond just sales. Use savings, use side revenue, bootstrap in ways that give you resilience and control. Because when you are not beholden to investors who do not understand your vision or your market or your community, you can build on your own terms. You can pivot when you need to. You can say no when something does not align. You can protect your peace and your purpose. The third insight Grace shared, and this one might be the most important, is this: outsource early to avoid burnout. Black women are conditioned to carry everything. We are taught that asking for help is weakness, that delegation is laziness, that if we want it done right, we have to do it ourselves. But Grace says, refuse to carry everything alone. Delegating even a few hours a week frees you to scale. It mirrors exactly how women owned businesses outgrew men owned ones in revenue and hires. They built teams, they shared the load. They understood that sustainable growth requires letting go of the superwoman cape. And this connects directly to the heart of what the soft girl era is all about. It is about Black women, especially those of us between 38 and 55, who have spent years in survival mode, finally choosing softness. It is about shifting from constantly grinding to finally grounding in joy, in peace, in self prioritization. It is about learning to say no without guilt, setting boundaries without apology, and resting without explanation. It is about releasing the cape and realizing that softness is not weakness. Softness is power. Softness is revolution. Grace Williams embodies this. She is teaching Black women that entrepreneurship is not just about revenue, it is about reclaiming agency. It is about healing from the trauma of workplaces that demanded everything and gave back scraps. It is about redefining strength, not as how much you can endure, but as how wisely you can build, as how intentionally you can protect your peace, as how boldly you can walk away from what no longer serves you. Because here is the truth the data keeps shouting: corporate America is not set up for Black women to win. Only 82 women of color get promoted for every 100 men. Ambition gaps are widening as return to office mandates and caregiving burdens push women out. 35,000 women lost jobs in late 2025. Black women's unemployment remains elevated at 7.1%. The system is failing us. It has always been failing us, and it will continue to fail us until we stop expecting it to save us. But while corporate America contracts, Black women's entrepreneurship expands. 56.9% growth in Black owned employer businesses from 2017 to 2022. 39.2% of all US businesses owned by women, $3.3 trillion in revenue, 56.8% revenue growth, and 19.5% workforce growth from 2019 to 2024, outpacing men. This is not a trend. This is not a moment. This is a revolution. And Grace Williams is one of its architects. And so are you if you choose to be. So here's what I need you to do: I need you to get brutally honest about your why. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. What is the unpolished, raw 3 a.m.? Reason you cannot stop thinking about building something of your own. Write it down, say it out loud, let it breathe. And then who in your warm circle will you tell first this week to soft launch your venture? Who has been waiting to support you? If only you would let them in. Call them, text them, tell them what you are building, and ask them to be part of it. And here is your homework: commit to one outsourcing task this week. Just one. Maybe it is hiring a virtual assistant for 5 hours. Maybe it is asking a friend to handle your social media for a month. Maybe it is letting go of the idea that you have to design your own website or write every single email or manage every single detail. Whatever it is, do it. Because scaling without burnout is not a luxury, it is a requirement. And reclaiming the agency that corporate America denied you starts with refusing to carry everything alone. Grace Williams showed me that the ladder we have been climbing leads nowhere, but the ground we are standing on, that ground is fertile. That is where we plant. That is where we build. That is where we grow. Black women, the most educated demographic in the United States, are not waiting for permission anymore. We are not asking for seats at tables that were never designed for us. We are building our own tables, our own businesses, our own legacies. And we are doing it faster, stronger, and more successfully than anyone else. The question is not whether Black women can succeed as entrepreneurs. The data has already answered that. The question is, are you ready to stop climbing and start building? Are you ready to get brutally honest about your why, leverage your warm network, and outsource early? Are you ready to reclaim your agency, release the cape, and step into your soft girl era, where softness is not weakness, but the most powerful form of resistance? Because Grace Williams is ready. Rachel Blank is ready. Logan Brown is ready. Fei Lee is ready. And the data says Black women are already leading the way. The revolution has already started. The only question left is, are you coming? Will you build? Will you rise? Will you claim what has always been yours? The ground is fertile. The time is now. Let's build.